say you got to read past these headlines, actually read the entire article, and that's how you usually find the truth, by comparing what the left and the right says, because they'll usually say somewhat of the same thing. It's just the spin. So that's where it is at. And hey, shout out to my man Lincoln. Lincoln, how you doing, brother?
What is up, my man? Set.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. So you honestly think this is the Republicans' fault?
Well, okay, so you missed my argument.
Okay, he did go out for a little bit, but dang, he said I missed his argument. Well, we gonna find out what that argument is? Because I'm definitely happy to hear you out. Link, you good?
So what?
Link, you're kind of like you're going in and out.
Sorry, here, I think it's my freaking.
Sound like you're behind a really big fan.
Oh shit! Here we go, house. There we go. Is it better? Hello?
Yo.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
All right, perfect. All right.
The reason why I said a 1 year extension doesn't matter is just what happens in a year. What happens? What's coming up? In
a year, they would have at least some time to come out with some type of reforms by healthcare. By then, they could debate something else. They might need to add it, take it off, but at least give a year to find out a different plan, because it's a failing plan. Let's be real.
But what I'm saying, when I say, so what happens in a year? So the extension would get them through the midterm election, right? That's why a 1 year extension doesn't mean anything, because if the Republicans win the midterm election, what's going to happen to those subsidies?
They still might get extended.
Probably
because
not.
If there's no other plan, then I doubt, and I truly mean this, I doubt the Republicans are going to let healthcare premiums skyrocket like that. What, 2 times triple? And thing is already going up with the healthcare subsidies to 18 to 30%. So, like I said, it's a failing system, and putting more money into it doesn't help. Giving it a 1 year extension, even though I say it doesn't really help, it still keeps the rise of healthcare premiums lower. Instead of tripling and doubling, we got up by 18 to 26%.
But then we're in the same situation.
It would prevent that tripling of healthcare premiums. That's why it's important.
It would prevent it for a year, but then what happens after that year? That's why Democrats are trying to get.
There's only 2 options. It's either they come up with something new or they continue it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's why Democrats want to get guarantees now for longer than a year, because in a year, Republicans might have more control. Right, the chances of the subsidies being passed are less in the future than they are now. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I hear what you're saying. I do get that you're a bit weary on, okay, well, what if the Republicans just let the opportunity fly past me, let this go, and we don't have enough Dems to fight for it? I kind of see what you're saying there.
Right, because the whole reason that the subsidies are an issue, right, is because the Republicans are trying to cut them. They're trying to get rid of them.
No. We're not trying to cut them. It's not about trying to cut them. It's just that, one, we could have discussed this during another CR bill where then y'all could have closed it then, and everybody would have been with y'all. We'd have been like, you're right. It's almost December 31st. Y'all need to do something with these subsidies. But since you closed it so early, it just makes y'all look bad, because we're going like, yo, well, they're not closing down until December 31st. We got 2 months still until these subsidies run dry.
What leverage do we have in 2 months?
Why is this an issue now?
Why
wasn't this an issue under Biden during the first and second year?
What? That's when the subsidies were created. What do you mean?
Okay, so
the subsidies were created after COVID.
Then why didn't you make it permanent then? Why was it only a 1 year extension continuously? Like, if it was that important, then why didn't they make it permanent?
Because they didn't have votes. What do you mean?
Because they didn't have votes. So the first year of Biden, no, the first and second year, they still had enough votes. They didn't lose until 2022. So they had enough votes to pass this for a while now. It just wasn't important to them until it came down to the topic of the government shutdown, it seems.
Well, there was other priorities. There's bigger because the subsidies were going to last, during Biden's term, right? And there was other things like the inflation, like all the jobs, everything else that we were dealing with that were a higher priority than extending the subsidies because we could extend them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but then, I mean, that's kind of effed up to kind of kick the can down the road, and it wasn't part of your priority list, but it's supposed to be a part of the Republicans. That's a bit crazy to say. Like, well, we didn't make it a priority, but we expected you to. Like, what?
It's not that we didn't make it a priority. We're always trying.
Pretty much just said, well, we have better things to do besides, handling health.
We had higher priorities, right? Like, there's
so better things to do than handling healthcare. I get it. Like, I think
the economy is was kind of a big deal at the time.
I mean, isn't healthcare too though? Yeah, I mean, look, y'all could have handled both. And the economy still went to shit. So at least y'all could have did was handle healthcare.
What improvements have Republicans come up to improve healthcare?
Now, to be honest with you, that's actually a really good point. But I was
saying 20 years to repeal and replace.
Whoa! What you mean? Y'all came up with Obamacare, okay? Yeah, after that, we were just running with the idea. It's honestly on you guys to reform healthcare because you guys came up with Obamacare, right? Obamacare's failing. At least
Obamacare's not failing though.
Reforms. Have y'all proposed any reforms to Obamacare? No, y'all just been trying to dump more money into it.
Well, Obamacare has been a success,
bro. No, we got premiums still skyrocketing, and it's supposed to be about affordable health care.
Time out. Okay, but what would those premiums be at without Obamacare?
Bro, without the subsidies? Bro,
honestly, well, I'm saying,
we didn't have Obamacare, period.
If we didn't have Obamacare, period, what would healthcare be like?
I'm pretty sure we'd come up probably with a better idea that didn't feel so rushed. So it's really hard to sit here and say that it's kind of, come on now. It's kind
of had 20 years to do something.
We just ran with no plan.
They still don't have a plan. They've had 20 years to come up with a plan.
On a failing plan. That's even worse.
But it's not a failing plan.
Actual reforms. All right, my bad. Go ahead.
Okay, it's not a failing plan though, right? I mean, what parts of Obamacare are? So let's see. Pre-existing conditions. People seem to like that a lot, right?
Affordability, my friend. Affordability. You guys are supposed to be a party of affordability, and Obama's failing in affordability.
But it's not. I'm saying if there was not Obamacare, the premiums would be so much higher at this point than they are right now.
What's about affordable health care?
The rate of increase
skyrocketing like this in the first place.
Do you not think that premiums were going up before Obamacare every year?
No,
premiums go up every year.
Saying Obamacare was a failure because it's supposed to be about affordable health care, but it's getting more unaffordable for Americans.
It's the premiums go up every year with insurance.
I'm not saying that everything about Obamacare is trash, but when it came to the affordability effort of it, that was a failure.
But it is more affordable now than it would be if there was no Obamacare. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. We can't say that for sure. Somebody might have came up with a better plan. We're just in the plan.
They had a better plan 20 years.
You're pretending like this is the only plan that would ever work when we definitely could have thought of something better. I mean,
how come they haven't?
Screws to Obamacare and take off the individual mandate, and that helped it out a bit. But the original Obamacare was really screwing a lot of people over.
But if you're saying that they could come up with a better plan, then how come they haven't?
Because Obama was in power. I mean,
I'm saying, but
the Dems were holding on to this Obamacare legacy that Obama laid down. They didn't want to let it go, even if it was showing signs of failure. They just think that, well, if we keep putting money into it, it'll get better. But that did not help.
I don't know what you think the healthcare system would be like without Obamacare, but without it, we'd be in a lot worse situation.
We should just stick with a failing plan and act like we can't come up with something better.
It's not failing, though. That's what I'm saying.
Well, a lot of people consider it failing, dog. A lot of people, even people on the left.
By what? By what? By how?
By affordability.
But how are you basing that off of? What are you comparing it to?
Premiums been going up past 8 years. Like, what are you talking about?
They go up every year. Their premiums.
That means they're not handling the affordability.
That's insurance.
Adding more money into it while failing on the affordability.
But I'm saying, so insurance companies, their premiums go up every year, no matter what. That's just insurance, right?
So
You
guess what?
understand
The
that?
insurance companies are still taking advantage of the American people, even with Obamacare, aka a
Yes,
failed plan. So
but
thank you for admitting it's a failed plan, right?
it's not a failed plan
But you
because
just
it's.
admitted it, though. You just
How
said it
did
was
I admit
supposed to
that?
stop these insurance agencies or the insurencers, but they're still raising their premium. It's still
It's not.
becoming
It was.
more
It's
unaffordable.
no,
How do
no.
you
It's
call
not.
that a success,
It wasn't supposed to stop the insurance companies from raising premiums. What do you mean?
dog?
It was not.
And now, was it supposed to be? What's it called? The Affordable Health Care Act. Why has
Right.
healthcare become more unaffordable?
But it is better than it would be if there was no Obamacare. That's what I'm saying. Because of things like the open market, right? That makes things more affordable for people. That if
Bro,
you
but
didn't have the open
it was an
market,
individual mandate. Trump opened it up to the market by taking off the individual mandate.
no. The individual mandate got done by the Supreme Court before that. That was in like 2010. I think that was before. That was like a year or two after it passed. That wasn't Trump.
I know
That was the
that.
Supreme
I
Court.
wasn't saying that. But the problem, what I'm saying is that you're not willing to admit that this is a failing plan and you just want to put more money into a failing plan.
There's what plan is better? There's not a failing plan.
Bro,
And
we're
you don't
asking
have a
for
plan that's
healthcare
better.
reforms. Here's the thing. You can't say what plan is better when you're not even trying to listen to reforms. You're just
What
trying
reforms?
to hinge on Obamacare. You're
What
not asking for
reforms?
reforms. You're hinging on Obamacare. You know that, right? Because if
We've
you were
been waiting
asking
for.
for reforms, you guys wouldn't be trying to dump so much money into subsidies. You would actually be going like, all right, guys, look, we understand that we're putting money into these subsidies. The premiums are still going up. We need to think about some reforms that just keep dumping money into it, thinking that we're doing something.
It was never supposed to stop premiums from going up. I don't understand where that's coming
The
from.
Affordable Health Care Act, like, bro, it's in the name.
What do you think?
It was supposed to help Americans afford health care.
And they are. We have so many more people on healthcare than we did before. Healthcare has covered so many more people now.
But premiums are going up and it's more
They
expensive.
go up. That's business. That's capitalism. Bro,
You're just feeding into my point that it's failed. Thank you.
It's not failed, though.
My point.
But I'm saying, how is that? Oh my God! Because it's still okay. So the only way for it to be successful is if it became single payer.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you when you said that.
So the only way for it to be successful, in your opinion, is if it becomes single payer.
No, it becomes successful if it actually made healthcare costs cheaper for Americans. And it's successful because it's the Affordable Health Care Act. But it didn't.
But it did. So many. Okay, then how do you explain how a higher percentage of our population has insurance now than they did before Obamacare? How do you explain?
Bro, the prices are rising. More people that need healthcare because of Obamacare.
Capitalism.
That doesn't really say anything. That doesn't really say anything, actually.
That's
like we're talking about the pricing. You're
capitalism.
talking about the people that's on there. Those are two separate things. And if Obamacare is the only option for government healthcare assistance, then what else do they have to go off of?
Those are two different. Yeah, so that's different.
But hold on, dog. Hold on. I am gonna have to let somebody up. We've been going on for a while now. But I'm gonna have to let this man Devin up. But first off, shout out culture. It fails. Only people with six figures are getting discounts, not the people who actually needed the discounts.
Oh my God.
But hey, I know
Yeah.
You don't agree. I understand. But shout out Link though, because I do love when the man comes up. All right, and Devin, what's going on?
What's up, man?
It's all good, Devin. So
I mean,
any
if we didn't
disagreements?
pay all these subsidies, why we wouldn't have so much raise in our health costs every year? But Trump already signed with two, like I think it was Pfizer and somebody else, and lowered costs by over 500, 300, 200% on a lot of medication. So how is that not helping the healthcare?
Okay, well, I do got to let my man Lincoln on here if y'all want to debate that, because it does sound like you two want to have that conversation. So now, Lincoln, did you hear what my man Devin had to say? Because he made a good point, though. We are adding a whole lot of subsidies, and that's only helping these corporations only take advantage of government funding.
sorry, a lot of those subsidies are for illegals, and the reason why they didn't sign the bill in the first place was because they wanted to have a $1.5 trillion to help illegal immigrants.
Link.
Okay, so that's obviously not true, right? We all can
Yes,
agree
it is.
that
We all know it is. We've all seen the news. We all heard it from every single one of their mouths, and so we don't have to even argue about it because it's a fact.
it's against, so by law, illegal immigrants do not receive
You mean the
federal
$44
assistance.
billion
Well,
that we're
now hold on.
spending?
Now I do have to say something to push back in because by law we're not allowed to hire illegals either, but people do.
Yep.
So
And we
by
already
law
came
we're
up
not
just
supposed to let
a
illegals
couple
take
of days
advantage of our
ago
healthcare system, but we do.
proving that over 50% of our illegal immigrants are on healthcare or SNAP or something like that, some sort of subsidy.
Okay, well,
You just
SNAP,
proved that.
yeah, we're talking about insurance, and
Okay.
illegal immigrants are not eligible for federal insurance.
Yeah, but they still
They can
are.
do states. States can do it. States, that's states' rights. So if Medi-Cal wants to cover illegals, that's totally on Medi-Cal.
Yeah,
Right?
and we also don't give them
Well,
subsidies
it is
for
Medicaid
that
funding,
exact
though.
reason.
You know, state funding, state medical service or state medical services are funded by Medicaid, though.
Yep.
Well, do you know how that works?
Yeah,
So they
but
get money
that
and they
still
just hand it
doesn't
to whoever they want to.
So the government reimburses them, right? So if it's so the illegal people don't get reimbursed, they don't send the reimbursements for them to the federal government, right? They
Yeah, that's
just cover it
why
with
they're
the
not
local
signing the
with the
bill,
state
dude.
taxes.
No,
That's why they're not signing the bill, because we won't do that.
They won't let California have states' rights to insure how they want.
No, this is federal. We're talking about federal. We're not talking about state.
Right. And so so if California wants to cover their people, then they can cover the people however they want. They can't use federal dollars to do it. There's nothing. How is that? Anything wrong with that?
Okay, that's what they're fighting for, is that they can put them on the insurances and be able to have that health care. And
No,
we're saying, no, we're not doing that.
that's not what they're saying.
Okay.
So
How are you watching any news at all?
Democrats
I
are
could
not
pull up
pushing.
like 20 people, even CNN has said it already, that we're
yes, even
trying
Jake
to push a
Tapper.
$1.5 trillion for illegal immigrants.
That's no. Okay. So if somebody, oh my God.
Now break
This-
it down for us,
that's true.
Link, because I do want to hear your answer on this.
Okay, so do you think if a refugee is here, they're going through the court process, right? Are they illegal?
They're going through the court process, and they're
Right.
well.
So you're talking about like the South
If they're
African.
going through if they're going through the process, then no.
Or the Haitians or anybody like that, right? The people with the temporary protection status.
They're good.
Right. Okay.
Pretty much
They're good, right? Those are
yeah.
the illegals that you guys
those
are talking about not
illegal.
covering for the
No, not
insurance.
really.
About
Hold
those
on
guys.
now.
Yes.
Because
No.
if you look
They
into the
are.
TPS program, their citizenship could be revoked at any moment. So I don't even know why Biden allowed that system to happen when it was so fragile and it kind of left these guys vulnerable to this. Like, in all honesty, like, it wasn't a good idea to put these guys under TPS. And since the president can now revoke TPS status at will.
Yep.
Well, because the president's supposed to have limited power to only do certain things, right? I know that all of a sudden now we think that the executive can do whatever he wants without anything, but yeah, presidents are supposed to have limited power because they can't.
I mean, no, that's within his power. It's within his power to do so.
Right. Yeah. I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm saying that.
Constitution. Yeah.
Right. Wait. Excuse me. No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. That the president's allowed to do that. He's only allowed to label them, give them the temporary status. He can't make laws on his own. He can't give them citizenship or anything like that, right?
Yeah, we're not trying to give them citizenship.
Right, and Biden wasn't either. That's what I'm saying. That's why.
Yeah, he was. Yes, he was.
Yeah, it was
100%.
supposed to be like an
And it
18-month
wasn't Biden that
program
was
to be
signing
able to
these
get
things. It was
to find citizenship.
somebody else. Biden was never the president, so I don't even know why you bring up Biden.
Well, for this record's sake, we'll say that Biden's
because
the president.
because S.E.T brought up S.E.T's the one that brought up the temporary vacations with
And
So
it was
that's
like
why
an
I brought it. That's why
18-month
Biden was
Biden
brought up.
plan
did
for
was
these
he said,
illegals. Well, not
I was,
illegals, I'm sorry, but it was an 18-month plan for these guys to, well, solidify their citizenship. And, you know, they was putting these people to get their license and all this good stuff. They're trying to just trying to push them into the system and get them citizenship. But a lot of these guys failed at that, to be quite honest. And it was usually due to language barriers and stuff. But the smarter one of them was able to utilize that 18 months. But most of the immigrants in TPS program, it failed.
Yeah, that's how the system works, right? It judges people like that, and they determine who qualifies, who doesn't.
Yeah, but it is a bit sick because it's like, why not just do the asylum program or let them make them go through the regular program instead of having these guys that are just going to fail out, and now we just got to gather them up and send them back home because they failed in a system that, well, they really weren't going to succeed in anyway due to their language barriers and maybe prior education.
Yeah, they weren't willing to assimilate into our culture.
I don't think that's true, but so the reason why
we got people in the freaking parks killing animals,
geese, right? They're taking all the stray cats and they're eating our cats, they're eating our dogs.
They're eating the dogs. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Now, well, we ain't gonna go too deep into that one. But I get the concern. I get the concern about the whole TPS program and what you're trying to say. But I would say this: that program was completely trash. Biden should have never did that to those people. And there was a lot easier way to get, immigrants in here the legal way without having to give them a test trial, which they kind of effed up on.
The one thing that I notice is with our military, we let other militaries come over and train with us. They teach us stuff, we teach them stuff, and then they go back home afterwards. That's the same thing that we should be doing with like immigrants, is teaching them, okay, this is like how a society works together, and then they go back and teach that to their people so that their own country can survive instead of getting demolished or ransacked by the immigrants that are just running into their country and destroying.
We do a lot of that. That's why we have a lot of foreign students. That's why we invite them to our college campuses so they can.
So the H-1Bs you're talking about are staying. They're taking over our jobs and getting paid less for it.
Which is true, but
then they go back to.
You can talk to like a lot of like economic people or like teachers and stuff like that would teach you exactly the same thing, where you would just you teach them and then let them do it on their own country instead of gaining more people in our country, which we're already overpopulated. I mean, how many homeless people do we have? And it's not because of the fact that they don't want to work. It's they have no work and they have nowhere to stay. There's no consistency in our economy because of the fact that we keep fucking things up, like letting 50 million illegals into our country and expecting us to pay for them all. Over 50% of immigrants are on some subsidy when they need to learn how to do that shit on their own. Like, I don't live off of subsidies, and my mom was on welfare when I was younger. She didn't even work. And so, like, when I grew up, I learned, hey, I got to put in a work ethic and got to learn stuff so that way I can be a contributing person in society, and they're not willing to do it.
And wait. So what do you think? Okay, so those kids of those people that you just talked about, what do you think they're going to be like?
They're going to be the same way because they learn.
Wait. So your mom was on welfare, and you learned
same as me, not like them. They're going to be more like me. They're going to hate their parents for being lazy bums and become something in society, hopefully.
Exactly. And
that's on average of like 30% of those people are going to do that. It's just,
where's that? Where'd 30% come from? But yeah,
that's just something I made up. Obviously, it's not a real statistic, but I'm just saying, like, that's on average of them are going to actually contribute, and they're just going to, because I know I have in my town, we have lots of immigrants here, and most of them are on subsidies, getting health care and stuff like that. And their kids learn that, and they continue to do the same thing because they don't think that our culture is something we should assimilate to. There's a difference there.
I patently disagree. I think throughout our history of immigration, it has shown that, the first generation
You come
over, it
over to
always
where I
takes.
live, and you look at these guys that are just sitting out here doing shit, and their whole
I live
family
in
has been doing nothing for the whole entire time they've been here. They haven't done nothing. All they've done is sit in the ghetto.
Okay. Hey, sorry, Seth, man, but I gotta go. I gotta get to work.
All right, big dog. I appreciate you for coming up, man. I truly do.
Yeah, no problem. I love you guys. Be safe. Be smart. Do your research, and communism will rule us all.
I hope not. But
That all link, bro. I'll see you next time. Hey, man, and Dev, man. Hey, I appreciate you for coming up as well, my man. Came up here already trying to come out with the facts. I like it.
yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I love
Man,
the
no
show.
problem at all.
All right, bye.
All right, man. Peace out. And all right, man. Shout out to those guys who came up. Hey, like I said, I'll have any of you guys on here from the left or the right.